What's good, Potterheads? So, we all obviously have a lot, and I mean a lot of reasons why we love Harry Potter. So much so that we could probably all go on ranting for days just about the reasons why we love Harry Potter as a series. I think that this Instagram post has a lot of truth to it and is one of the reasons why it's so funny as a meme. Uh, so obviously I can't make a 3 hour uh, video about why I love Harry Potter personally. So today, the Half Blood YouTuber presents a few reasons why I love Harry Potter. Number one, Harry's character. So what I love about Harry's character is that J.K. Rowling managed to create a boy, who is both relatable and kind of unattainable as a person, um, which I think is an amazing feat for a children's fantasy series. More specifically, she is able to create this young boy who goes through so much in 7 years of school, which none of us would be able to do in our wildest dreams. And yet he also is so relatable in the fact that he suffers with depression, sort of, from year 3 to year 5 about. And also, it's really cool to think about how as Harry is experiencing everything in the series, we are experiencing it right alongside him. He has no prior knowledge coming into this series, so we are learning about everything right as Harry is learning about everything, which really kind of makes the character more relatable, and we can connect ourselves with them on a deeper level. Number two, alternate education. So what I mean by this is that obviously there are the core skills that a wizard needs, spell work such as transfiguration, charms, then you have the defense against the evil people in the wizarding world, which is defense against the dark arts. You also have arithmancy, which is a sort of math, but not exactly. And then you have divination, which I don't even know why that's a subject at that school to begin with. The thing is that they don't teach the most basic fundamental skills of human interaction. They don't teach speaking. You have to come into this school already knowing how to speak, like talk to people. You also have to come into the school knowing how to read previously, which a couple of people don't know how to do. For example, Hagrid, who took nearly 3 years of Hogwarts before getting expelled, still doesn't know how to spell by the time of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which I think is utterly ridiculous. Why are you guys not teaching students how to read and write? That's such a simple fundamental skill. I think more important than defense against the dark arts or charms or anything like that. So yeah. Number three, movie Lockhart. Book Lockhart, I pretty much hated him. He was not the most likable character. He really kind of seemed more stuck up, more self-confident, in a bad way. He felt like he knew everything already. He felt like he was too good for his profession. He felt like he was too good to be guiding students along the hallways in Chamber of Secrets. Movie Lockhart was completely different. He was hilarious. He was a comedic relief. He was basically Kevin James and Paul Blart Mall Cop. He was just basically the funniest character in the movie besides Fred and George. Which actually brings me to my next point, Gred and Forge. All I have to say about this section is that if you are somebody who does not like Fred and George, or you couldn't look into these faces and think, man, these are great guys. I really want to spend some time with them. I want to hang out with them, maybe do a little bit of gaming, maybe a Q&A, maybe even just a regular meal. Please click off of this video right now because you are not a true Harry Potter fan. Number 5, Hogwarts is dangerous. I don't love this as in, like, it's one of my favorite parts of the series. I just love it, because of how utterly ridiculous and nonsensical, this part of the series is. Now, if you look at it, Hogwarts pretty much finds themselves in mortal peril every single year. This for this part, looking through the perspective of a parent, obviously you would want to send your child to the first year of Hogwarts because nothing bad has happened before. So you send them to their first year at Hogwarts. They come home telling stories about how Voldemort tried to gain power using a special stone in the school, while nearly killing one of the students. I personally wouldn't send my kid there anymore because they have a potential of dying at that school. Uh, so I mean, if you choose to send them to Hogwarts again, I mean, I wouldn't completely blame you. But I mean, let's say you do, right? So you send them to school for Chamber of Secrets, where Lord Voldemort comes back again, starts petrifying kids. We also find out that he has killed a student before. Um, so they come back home. They tell you about how their Muggle-born friends were petrified and nearly died because of a snake living in the pipes. So let's say you decide to bring them back again for reasons that are completely beside me. Um, maybe it's because you think he's gone now, so you send them back to school for their third year, where a mass murderer is on the loose, at least in your eyes. And he even breaks into the school and gets into one of the dormitories. Now, I would sincerely, I would seriously question why I'm still sending my kid to this school, especially because at the end of the year, this mass murderer is still on the loose and has not been caught. I just find it completely ridiculous and funny at the same time, why parents are still sending their kids to this school and are only considering not bringing them at year 5. Why year 5 of all times? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Number 6, Quidditch. I don't really have any, like, cynical enjoyment out of this, or any, like, looks into it or anything. I just want to say it's completely genius that J.K. Rowling was able to create an entire sport, just design the entire thing with 700 different penalties and fouls, I must say, which is completely ingenious and requires an extensive imagination, so shout out to her. Number 7, Chris Columbus. This doesn't really have anything to do with the movie itself, but I think it's really hard not to add the director who directed the first 2 movies, which were not my favorite in the series, but were still pretty good. Not to mention, he also directed one of my childhood favorite movies, and is still one of my favorite movies, in Home Alone. It's pretty hard not to add him to the list, especially because he directed the first 2 Harry Potter movies. He essentially brought us the entire series because he made a movie so good in Sorcerer's Stone that people wanted more. So really, we should be giving credit to Chris Columbus for the rest of the series. Number 8, Prisoner of Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie and book. And one of the reasons for that is because we get an introduction into the characters from the Marauder era of Hogwarts. And I just absolutely love the dynamic they have there. If I'm going to be honest, I like the Marauder era much better than I do, much better than I do the actual Harry Potter era, because I like James and Snape, and even Lupin, as characters better than the ones we have now, because I mean, even starting in like the third book, as early as the third book, whenever whenever Ron and Hermione are in the same room together, all the dialogue is just them screaming at each other, which is not the most enjoyable thing to hear. What is enjoyable is a group of bullies who are so genius that they taught themselves how to turn into animagi, and Severus Snape, who I think is the most genius character in the entire series. Um, and that actually brings me to my next point, the Marauder era. Um, I really love the Marauder era just because it proves one of the early on instilled stereotypes that any person who decides to pick up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone reads it, maybe even reads just to the Sorting Hat chapter, and then just gives up on the series. They now have the impression that all Gryffindors are good people and all Slytherins are bad people, which is just not true at all. That is a terrible stereotype to instill into people, because it's just plainly not true. If we take a look at the Marauder era, we see that the bullies are actually the Gryffindors, and the victim is a Slytherin. And that's because there is no set role for each of the houses in Hogwarts. There isn't going to always be side characters in Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs, and there are always going to be bad Slytherins and good Gryffindors. It really all depends on which traits of the house you hold most value to, and the ones you choose to exercise the most. And in James' case, it was arrogance that he decided to exercise the most, which is why he became the bully, and which is why I think that is a terrible piece of information to instill into somebody who decides to only read about the first half of the first book. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to leave any of the 3 C's, comments, criticism, and conversation in the Patronus section down below. As always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Peace.